Hey Bees, I'm Marie from Humblebee and Me, and today we're making this beautiful and quite simple but oh so lovely winter custard soap. One of my favorite things about this soap is how it morphs color as it saponifies, and that is thanks to the inclusion of cinnamon bark essential oil. When you first make this and it's just the batter and it hasn't saponified yet, it's quite a lovely creamy white, but as it saponifies it takes on this beautiful sort of custard golden hue that I really like. In addition to the cinnamon, we've also got some peppermint and cedarwood essential oils there. So we've got some nice bright freshness from the peppermint and a nice sort of woody base from the cedarwood, and then just some nice warm spice from the cinnamon. So food-wise, this probably doesn't really smell all that much like custard, but I really love the way it looks, and it's just absolutely divine in the olfactory department. Now you will notice that these bars are quite simple, just like a beautiful smooth velvety pour and then a fun little swirled glitter mica top, which I'm quite the sucker for we're being honest here. So if you're new to soap making, if starting to make your own soap is one of your New Year's resolutions, this is a great recipe to dive in with. The batter doesn't trace too quickly, so you don't sort of end up panicking as it goes from whoa to pudding to So yeah, no, you just get like a nice trace and then it's quite obvious, and then you can pour it into your mold and it just goes in beautifully and smoothly. This is also a quite good candidate if you have a more intricate soap mold that you have been looking to use. This one will absolutely fit the bill. Now, because getting a nice, smooth, velvety pour was really important to me, I did design the fat balance to be a little bit on the softer side. These bars will still be plenty hard once they age, but I would give them 4 weeks to age instead of 3. And I'd also leave them in the mold for a lot longer than you might usually. So I actually left these in the mold for about 3 full days before pulling them out and slicing them, and still found them to be very easy to slice, like still quite soft. So that's kind of nice in the sense that you can kind of put it in your mold and then like forget about it for a while, which is exactly what I did. I was fully intending to pull it out after 24 hours, but when I saw how soft they still were at 3 days, I would sort of recommend giving them at least 2 days in the mold, if not 3. All right, well, I think that's about it. So let's get our glittery custard on and go make some soap. So we're going to begin by creating our batter. So here we have our oils, and this is our lye solution. So for information on which oils are in here and how much of them to use, please check the description box below. It's all written in percent so that you can just pop it into soap calc and make the batch size that your heart desires. So in here we have some kaolin clay. So I'm actually going to add this to the lye water first. This is something a bunch of readers have suggested I try, so let's give it a go. So we'll give it a quick whirl here with our immersion blender. And now that that's all incorporated, we're going to add the lye clay solution to our oils. So everything here is at room temperature. So that's a really easy way to make sure your oils and lye water are at the same temperature, is to just let them sit at room temperature for a while until they settle at room temperature. So bring this to trace here. Alright, so we're at a fairly thin trace. We're going to add our essential oil blend, and again, details on the essential oil blend are in the description box below. So this is just titanium dioxide, sort of predispersed in some extra rice bran oil. We want to take care not to add too much because that can sort of tempt the fate of glycerin rivers. So I am noticing some clumps here. I am not going to fish those out because I don't want to have clumps in the final soap. So I'm going to leave this for a while because I'd like to do some stuff with the top, but as you can see, it's still very liquid. So we're going to leave that for a while and come back and give it a poke in a couple minutes. All right, so we've got a touch of viscosity here, enough to do some pretty toothpick swirls. So in here, I have predispersed a couple different micas. It's a blend of these two from Humblebee. So it's mostly Snow Queen, which is this really nice sort of white, silvery, very fine mica. and just a tiny, tiny bit of this Blue Moon to give it sort of a cooler hue. And because I'm a total sucker for glitter, I'm going to be adding some of this beautiful Shooting Stars glitter, also from Ivan over at Yellowbee. All right, well, all that's left to do is let that saponify for about 24 hours, maybe longer if I get distracted, and slice it up and see how it turned out. And there you go. You just made some beautiful winter custard soap. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and do remember to check the description box below because that's where all of the information that will allow you to actually make this soap is. So that's the percentages of all the different oils and the concrete amounts for all of the different additives. And be sure to check out the recipe on my blog where everything is written out with lots more information for you. See you next time.